Greetings, Happy New Year, folks, from Stars TyranT and the Resident Evil, now rebranded Resident Evil podcast. It's been an interesting transition to changing the name. It's something that's been in discussion for a long time, and as we, this year we're going to be moving into some new projects that'll, as you see when they start to unfold, will inform, part of the reason why the name has been changed. So we've actually seen a nice uptake in views and additional Twitter followers, and Podbean has dramatically risen in views and listens, should I say, for the most part. So it's been really, really positive, and thanks everybody for sort of sticking with us while we did sort of change all the social medias and everything. I know there's not been too much confusion, and Twitter's gone down quite well with starting with opening the other account, which then points you to the correct one. So it's been positive. We're quite pleased with how it's gone, because there's always a bit of concern when you do a change. So thanks to everybody to just to stick with us. So again, I haven't got a great deal of time tonight, but I think I'll just run through quickly in literally a bite-sized video. This is not going to be very long. The trailer, I have seen it once already, so it's not like an initial reaction, but I'll just essentially do a commentary. So we'll just get right into it. Like I say, I've seen it once, so let's just see what we can sort of discern from it. It keeps his face nicely obscured there. For the most part, Nemesis looks great in motion, it must be said. He actually looks very similar. Still not the biggest fan of the bin liner design, but we hear Carlos speak. Still not keen on the nose, but it is what it is.
With the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, UBCS for short.
And it's going to be really fun seeing these guys actually work together
the city
somewhat.
is completely cut off, isolated.
And survivors.
We need
Let's
help.
hope it's not like the Torloke section.
My men cannot do this alone.
The town's crawling with those freaks. No chance of fighting our way out of the city.
The first look at the
Why
hunter,
is
they
she
look
here?
big.
She's unreliable.
It's me he's after.
And though the character's face is like
Hey,
Nikolai
wait.
there, it
Wait, Joe!
doesn't necessarily look like the Nikolai we recognise. He's enough of his appearance to clearly be Nikolai, if you know what I mean. But Nemesis using a flamethrower. If you like your Paul Anderson movies, I'm sure we're going to get a vast array of weaponry. And the trailer is just really short, but it's just enough to just sort of keep us going. The driving section, I'm sure that'll be just straight out the Torloke's level.
Joe, what happened?
Resident Evil 6.
Come in.
And it looks like Nemesis is wearing some sort of, helmet or mask there. So, I wonder if we can get some. And there's about your best look. So, the actual wrapping and whatnot will go around his face, just revealing his eye. So it's not actually like a guard, what looks like a face guard, but it is wrapped. And I assume as we go through the game, gradually, this wrapping paper will slowly, burn away. So here's our first look at demasked Nemesis. He's using his tentacle in a fight that looks very reminiscent of, the sort of fight we would expect in the classic Resident Evil 3. So it's nice to see that's replicated. Their first meeting, perhaps. Name's Carlos and I'm saving you. Yeah. RPD section. So this is. Is this at the beginning of the game? Is this before Jill turns up? Will Jill even go to the RPD, or will it just be Carlos now? Interestingly, that doesn't look like any shotgun in Resident Evil 3, because that's not the Benelli and it's not the lever action. This can be assumed to be the hospital, and it's obviously changed. We're going to have the underground section imported from Raccoon's Destruction from Umbrella Chronicles. So yeah, it is worth saying, like I said earlier, that Nemesis does look great in motion. They've got the sort of physical intimidation of him, right? This obviously must be really. Oh, you say that. Nemesis is still obviously masked here, but Jill and Carlos have already met because they're connected via. Unless that's a very clever edit, and that the bit with the car is from the beginning of the game, and they've just spliced those two moments together to make it look like it's at another point. So yeah, that's the video. And the other thing they've put out is a series of screenshots and character profiles. So we'll just take a quick look. So we've seen this image of Brad. This is nothing new. I'm just going to literally cycle through them. So there's Brad. That is the Hunter. What we assume to be the Hunter Beta if it's in the hospital. This doesn't have like the distinctive red, tumours and whatnot. This time, so and that does look rather like a sort of beaked mouth in a sense. Does it open up like a predator? I don't know. It's just silly, but it looks all right. The actual trailer, that screenshot's interesting because they look much bigger in the trailer. So again, yeah, from the hospital section, we have Mikhail and Jill with a raccoon badge, not a stars badge. Which is interesting. Mikhail looks pretty decent, more or less the same. Just looks notably older than he was depicted in the original. But you could just put that down to graphics. They're on I think they're substituting the sort of the cable car thing or the tram for a subway car, which is fine. It for all intents and purposes, it is the same. We have Jill going to get some seafood. Some barbecued seafood by the look of it. Quite a few shots of them in the streets. It's a very Outbreak looking image there, which is what I like. Moon's Donuts, and interestingly, there's the crab place from a different perspective. So Jill's actually coming down on what you can see on the right hand side of the image here, which is about here, is where she's coming down in this image there, because you can see the dresses in the window. So you're getting a sense of geography already from some of these images, which is cool. This is the great Dario Rosso, who's just lost his daughter out there. I want to say that's like where you actually acquire the shotgun in the original Resident Evil 3, but it probably isn't. It could be an expanded basement section. Very that's one for your desktop wallpapers there, guys. And I must say, though I'm not like always a big fan of character redesigns and the changing of attire and whatnot, particularly when you're talking about characters with such iconic costumes like the Resident Evil series, I must say they've made Jill look an absolute badass in this trailer and the screenshots. She looks really, really cool. Some sort of shopping centre, or is it more of the subway? I think it's actually more of the subway, and that's probably the way out. A couple of things on this one. So this looks like what you would assume to be a death scene. It could be a rather comical death scene if she's fired into the sky with it. But the thing I take interest in out of this image is the chalk on the ground behind her. I think is lifted straight from the original, which is near the beginning, just behind bar Blackjack. There is where you get where the shutters are for the grenade ammunition. There is, I'm sure, that design on the ground. A very injured Mikhail. Murphy Seeker. Looking again worse for wear. It's interesting. On this image, the Nemesis' nose is almost lost in all that detail, and that's actually one of the better looking images of the Nemesis so far. Any ideas on what the the sort of tubular devices. They've probably even talked about it today. I don't know. I've not barely been online today. Now he has a laser designated rocket launcher, because everything just has to be that's a little bit more high tech here. But you can already see this must be considerably later on in the game, because he's lost a lot of the sort of bin liner. What are we calling that? Bin liner tape around him, and you're starting to see the mass beneath. I mean, it's looking good. The detail is exquisite. It's really, strong visually. Codename Nemesis Lot None. Redstone Street, downtown. I'm not even going to hazard a guess as to what gun Carlos is using there. And Carlos, I mean, he's one of the only characters in these remakes that looks completely different. I still maintain that if you were to take that umbrella badge off his arm and show him out of context, people would not know that's Carlos. I think people only can assume that is him because of the context he's shown in, like next to Jill or next to Nemesis. But if you were to just literally leak that image onto the internet without that umbrella logo and say this is from a future Resident Evil game, I don't think anyone would say that that's Carlos. He's recognisably Nikolai. We have Tyrell Patrick. And again, it's stuff like this is what I really like to see, and this is the kind of thing that you can hope for in a remake. That if they are going to go down a more reimagining route and not stick to the rules of the original game they're remaking, then they can expand and do more with this. And that's the kind of side of it I'm just looking forward to. Though I will always treat the project as a non-canon retelling of Resident Evil 3, you can at least have a lot of fun with it. And if you look over just behind Carlos's shoulder, that looks so much like a Geiger Xenomorph. To the point where I'm actually nearly certain it is. So, the character renders. Nemesis there looks like Nemesis. It's they've kept a lot of what makes the design quite striking. He looks tall and he doesn't wear a hat. And this is where we're winning now. Carlos looking a lot like someone we know in the community there. We've got Murphy Seeker. We've got Dario, Brad, Tyrell, and that's where we get to. So that is it in a nutshell. That's it. I mean, from what I've seen, it just looks good, and like I've said in previous videos, I'm so much more relaxed with this project than I ever was with any aspect of the Resident Evil 2 remake, and that's because it's very clear now that certainly the perspective I'm taking is that this isn't going to impact the main lore. It's got branched off and it's going to do its own thing, and on this side of the timeline, you're going to have 2, 3, and probably Resistance connecting to these two titles, and that's fine. And the core timeline can go on unaffected. So yeah, I mean, it all looks good. The characters, with the exception of Carlos, are all recognisable. The Nemesis looks much better now, seen sort of within the context of the game and the screenshots and the footage. So yeah, I mean, it's looking promising, and it's not even very far away now. That's the crazy thing. And so yeah, just waiting for Capcom to give us news of the EU Collector's Edition, because it's all gone quiet on that, and from a personal point of view, I haven't put my name down for any of the the Japanese or the American version. So if there isn't going to be an EU Collector's Edition, I've kind of missed the boat on that one, because I just don't really want to pay an inflated price to get one imported. I should say they're all allocated now anyway, so you have to sort of rely on eBay and third-party sellers, and I'm not going to go down that route. The statue's nice, but I won't pay an overinflated price for it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there will be some news about the EU Collector's Edition soon. So that's it. Like I said, this is only a quick one. So yeah, thank you very much again. Just want to say, just to finish, thank you very much again for the support with the changing of the name and the rebrand. It means a lot that so many of you continue to stick around, and like I say, please just wait a little bit longer, and we'll let you in on a few more things that we've got coming up this year. So again, thank you very much, and we record the Code Veronica podcast very soon for its anniversary, so that's it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll keep you informed on social media when that records, and yeah, until then, we will see you very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.